Hello and welcome back to some more F1 2020 and part 8 of my Team career mode with Jordan GP. Thank you for the incredible support on the series so far. Really do appreciate it. We've been smashing 50 likes every single episode so far. Nearly 100 likes on most of the parts so far, and I'm sure they will grow to get that, which is unbelievable. So thank you very much for your incredible support, your very kind comments every single day. This series is now daily at 5 PM every single day UK time, so make sure you turn those notifications on and you are subscribed so that you don't miss an episode of the Jordan Journey. So today we have the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in Baku, a track that I've never really had a lot of love for, but you know, we've got a race there sometime. But last time out, we had a crazy Monaco Grand Prix, so if you haven't watched that, please go back and watch it and make sure you're fully up to speed. Looking at the upgrades, we have brought in a new aerodynamic update, I believe. One criticism I have of this game is that it doesn't really tell you what upgrades you've made or when you made them, but hey, it's fine. So you can see that we're making good progress, and I think actually this weekend we're going to save up for this upgrade here, the cylinder head, which will increase our engine power somewhat, and you can see it'll actually take us above Mercedes, so we will become the team with the most powerful engine, which I think is going to be really important, you know, in the grand scheme of things, especially with the races coming up. So I think that's the upgrade we're going to get at the end of this weekend. We have raised some funds over the last few days in game. Obviously, we've had our weekly income from the sponsors. We've also done a press event as well, so we've now got enough to get Schumacher again. It's just whether we want it. He was very much value for money before, but another $1 million onto his salary now, which is crazy, to be honest with you. Absolutely crazy. But I don't know how we can sort things. So we can sort it by rating, and we can maybe have a look at what else we could get for $2 million. So you can see there, Nick de Vries obviously is an interesting one that we could bring in. Jack Aitken a little bit cheaper. He's British as well. Matsushita in there, Antoine Hubert, Nicholas Latifi is lower than all of those, but he's a bit more expensive, of course. Jordan King in there as well. You know, I'm certainly planning on keeping Schumacher, but he's very much the most expensive guy in and around his ability. You know, we need to keep training him up, and hopefully he will get better. He obviously scored his first points last time out, so you know, he's going to hopefully start performing a little bit more consistently and help us towards finishing 7th in the Constructors. I've changed my engine back to the original Australia spec engine, and we'll see how we do in qualifying in Baku before I decide whether we take a new engine. But that's pretty much everything I wanted to update you on. So speaking of qualifying, let's go and find out how we are doing. Okay folks, here we are on our first flying lap of the weekend. Our pace has seemed pretty good here so far. Certainly straight line speed is something I've been very impressed with. So opening the DRS, look at this, we're going up to 207, 208, maybe 209 mile an hour as we set a 1 minute 42.5. as our quickest lap time so far in the weekend, but I think we can do a little bit better than that, to be honest with you. And yeah, we've ran out of fuel, so let's head back to the pit lane, and I'll see you guys when we come on our second run. Well, we ran a little bit wide out of that corner, but you can see we're massively up on our previous time, but because we got a poor exit, we're just losing time as we come onto this straight. Look at this, we've lost 2 or 3 tenths of a second here, just because we didn't get the best exit, but we come up to the line and we go up to 8. What a fantastic lap that was. I cannot believe where we pulled that from. And we're through safely into Q2, but wow, that needed a special lap to pull that off. That was very, very strong indeed. I don't know if I can better that by much, but only 8 tenths of a second off the fastest car, Sebastian Vettel. It just shows our pace is pretty decent in qualifying these days. Unfortunately, Mick Schumacher couldn't make it through as well. He's down in 19th position, but Daniel Ricciardo goes out in the Renault. That is a big surprise as we head into Q2. Much better exit this time onto the never-ending straight. We just got to make sure that we absolutely nail these 2 corners, which we do. And look at this. Got an excellent exit. We have the DRS open. What's our time going to be? A 1:41.8. And that puts us 11th, so we just miss out on Q3 in the end. But once again, a pretty strong performance in qualifying from us. We are knocking on the door of that top 10, but we couldn't quite make it through. We were just a tenth of a second shy of Kimi Räikkönen in the Alfa Romeo. It was put in a very strong performance there in getting through to the top 10 shootout. So Danny Kvyat, Pierre Gasly, Esteban Ocon, Lando Norris and Antonio Giovinazzi go out as well as us. So let's see how we get on in today's race.
A warm welcome to all of you watching at home to today's Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and a race that in its short history has already proven no stranger to drama. A 4th row start is just about as likely to give you a podium as a pole position would. And remember, in 2017 and 2018, both Lance Stroll and then Sergio Perez took surprise podiums here. Baku City Circuit then, an unpredictable 3.7-mile track around the streets of the Azerbaijan capital. 20 turns for our drivers to navigate today, including the infamous Turn 8, one of the tightest and most challenging corners of the season. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Hamilton, Max Verstappen and Albon, Perez, Stroll, Raikkonen and Carlos Sainz. The captain, Kvyat, Pierre Gasly and Ocon, Norris, Grosjean, Daniel Ricciardo and Mick Schumacher, Magnussen, Russell, Latifi and Antonio Giovinazzi starts from the back of the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
So there we go then, ready for this Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Unfortunately, we didn't get to hear from Anthony Davidson. Don't know exactly what was going on there. I think Crofty rambled a bit too much at the start and had to rush everything else by the sounds of it. But there you go. We start in 11th position today, which gives us a choice on strategy, but I think we'll probably just go with the norm of soft and then mediums, just simply because I don't see the advantage.
Let's aim to keep the momentum going.
Obviously, points finish last time out in Monaco seems to be soft hard that they want to look at. looking at there. That looks slightly quicker. If we come in a lap earlier, that looks slightly quicker. What would stint 2 look? If we went hard, no, I think mediums should be fine. You know, we've got brand new tyres. I am going to put a bit more fuel in today because obviously the long straight we need as much power as possible. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it then. Obviously need a good getaway. I find this track is always tough to negotiate on the first lap. So
We're not seeing any technical issues coming off the practice start. Watch the RPM on the full start. We don't want to bog down.
Nearly went into the back of Carlos Sainz there. Had to stamp heavily on the brakes, but I feel like we can maybe get into the back end of the points today. As I say, I think our pace has been pretty decent this weekend. And recently in general, it's been pretty good. Obviously, Zandvoort, we did very well. Obviously, wet qualifying helped a lot with that one. In Spain, we qualified well, but an incident at turn 1 cost us there. Points in Monaco, even though we were very, very slow. The pace around Monaco was not good. But pace has been decent so far this weekend, but we have traditionally been a lot stronger in qualifying than the race, so it will be interesting to see where we end up today. Because Canada very similar in terms of big long straights that we need to
No rain expected. No
do
rain
well
expected for the time being.
I have went ahead and whoa, glad damage isn't on the formation lap. We'd have binned it there. Yeah, I went ahead and bought that engine upgrade that I was showing you guys, so that'll be ready in time for the British Grand Prix, which will be really good, our home race of course. And then we'll stick it into rich fuel mix. I'm going to really try to get off the line well today. I think our starts have been a lot better this year than in F1 2019, so can hopefully only get better. So here we go, performing the grid start. Making sure that we get one final burnout on these tyres. Obviously I'm not controlling at the moment. But there you go, one more burnout. We've angled our car pretty weirdly again. Much rather have been angled in towards signs,
Be
but
patient and watch for the lights.
Raikkonen 9th, what a performance from him. As we get ready for the lights. Here we go. Did that weird jump cut thing again. Lights out, away we go. Very quick release of the lights. And we are away. Carlos Sainz coming over to defend, but we managed to outbrake him into turn 1, and we're up to 9th as it stands. Need to make sure we slow down nicely into turn 2. Stroll hit the inside curb, and there is yellow flags. I'm not entirely sure what that's for, but possible chance here. And we take it down the inside of Lance Stroll, so up to 8th place now. Look at this. A great start for us. It's very unlike us to make so many grid positions up at the start of a race, but there you go. We'll settle for that. You can see Kimi Raikkonen just be ahead of us. He's somebody I feel like we can take. He's performing pretty well this weekend so far.
Keep it up.
Let's not crash into the castle section. Sound like Sean Connery for a second there. The castle. Right then, flying through. I think we need to make sure we've got plenty of overtake button for this next straight. We are in rich. Just double checking that. So come round. We've got the overtake button on. Can we slipstream Raikkonen? Oh, we've run out of ERS. That's disaster. Well, we got across the line quickly. There we go. Well, that was poorly managed, but you can see Hamilton up ahead. It's not often we get to see him this close. 5th place currently Hamilton. So Mercedes seem to be struggling a little bit around here. As you can see, we're already using quite a lot of fuel, but a good positive start here. Well, here comes Perez managing to slipstream us, and what a move he's made.
The pit window. You'll be on the mediums.
So back down to 9th now. Stroll is right behind us as well. Okay guys, coming into the pits on this lap, looks like Max Verstappen ahead is coming in as well, and that's a pretty good pit entry. Looks like we got near enough to Max. So here we come into the pits. Can we get a good pit stop here? And we're away behind Verstappen.
Pit strategy complete.
Unfortunately,
see these tyres through to the end now.
We've done pretty well. Come out ahead of Sainz and Perez, which can't be sniffed at. We have come out behind Raikkonen though, and so has Max Verstappen actually. So Raikkonen has done well there with the undercut. So, well, we'll see who else we managed to come out in ahead of. But we're down to 17th as it stands. So some people are in the pits now, including our teammate Mick Schumacher, who's done a fine job of holding up these guys ahead. But we're back up to 9th place, which is good. I don't know whether there's anyone else out there that still hasn't pitted yet, but we seem to have the measure of science at the moment.
Okay,
well, there you go, there is another car. It's an Alpha Tauri that's coming out the pit lane. And we're up to 8 now. And Kimi Raikkonen is holding up these cars just the way Mick Schumacher was before, but we have been given the message that our engine is down on power, which is exactly not what we wanted to hear. Especially when you've got such a long pit straight, you want to have the most power you possibly can. Well, we're trying to defend from Carlos Sainz. We're using Rich Mix, we're using the overtake button, both of which we can't really afford to use, but we managed to hold it round the outside to Carlos Sainz there. Big battle coming up, you feel, for these next 4 laps. I don't see how we can stay ahead of him really with this power deficit. You can see we've already lost 2.6 seconds now to Albon. We were right on his gearbox a couple of laps ago. All of a sudden we get that call and we are losing time. And we've got 2 cars directly behind us that certainly want our position. Still should finish 10th though, hopefully. Okay then guys, we're coming on to the final lap of the Grand Prix. You can see we're visibly down on straight line speed. We're basically having to use the overtake button to get us through. You can see we're losing a couple of miles an hour once we hit full revs.
16.1 seconds.
This engine, definitely one that isn't going to last much longer. But because Perez and Sainz have been battling behind, it's allowed us to pull away a little bit and virtually secure this 8th place, which would be absolutely fantastic once again. And I believe it might even be our best ever finish. I can't quite remember where we finished in Zandvoort. It might have been 8th place. But it's been a pretty good weekend. We've had the pace. It's just a shame we've lost a bit of power in this Grand Prix. But the upgrades on this car seem to be working a treat, and it's just a shame that we're not being backed up by our teammate currently. And although he scored his first point in the last Grand Prix, his overall performance this season has been quite disappointing. But here's Sergio Perez right behind. He may well nick 8th place off us. I'm not sure we're going to be able to defend as we come through the final couple of corners. We haven't got the fuel to go rich. We'll try it. Back into standard. He's got the DRS. It's a drag race up to the line, and we managed to just about win it. There you go, Perez goes forward, but there you go, 8th place. Excellent result for us there. 4 points towards driver and constructor standings. Giovinazzi, driver of the day.
And so ends another Azerbaijan Grand Prix. A fascinating race and a well-deserved victory. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
Well, what a Grand Prix. Looks like the long loading times are back. We'll hopefully get to see
an excellent performance at the Grand
podium.
Prix,
Here we go.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it. Let's have a look then at the driver's standings. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Well, for me, it's got to be Lewis Hamilton. The multiple world champion may be the boring choice at this point, but you can't argue that he's a driver deserving of his reputation.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Another team that will be satisfied with this Grand Prix is Alfa Romeo, whose good result moves them further up the championship. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
There you go then. Lewis Hamilton wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc finishes second with Bottas in third. Vettel fourth, Verstappen fifth, Kimi Raikkonen an excellent sixth for Alfa Romeo. What pace he showed this weekend. Alexander Albon finishes 7th. We finish 8th, of course, with Perez 9th and Carlos Sainz in 10th. Where did Mick Schumacher finish in the end? Down in 19th. Very disappointing. But his pace, 6/10 off our fastest lap. That's not too terrible. I just think it's his racecraft that's almost the problem. We really need to up his statistics, but maybe we look for another driver in the market. Maybe Mick Schumacher just isn't the right fit for us. He was a cheap option at the start, but now $2 million to renew his contract. I don't know. Do we get somebody else? Because it is costing us at the moment. We move up to 11th in the drivers' standings and up to 7th in the constructors. If we could finish 7th this year, which I'm not sure we're going to be able to pull off, but if we could finish 7th, that would be absolutely amazing. But let's continue on. We'll see if Claire has got any questions for us at the end of this Grand Prix. I'm sure she will.
Amazing
Here we go.
performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy?
Aero package is fantastic. Best in the field. I'm not entirely sure that's right.
With how you're performing.
Awesome.
Do you think you were lucky not to end your race with that crash?
With what crash? Let's just go no comment. I mean, we didn't have a crash, so I don't know what she's on about, really.
That's everything.
By the way, that fan noise in the background is the PS4 Pro. I have cleaned it out before people tell me to do that. It nothing works with it, so it's a bit unfortunate, but hey ho, nothing can be done. But there we go. It looks like we might have won the rivalry. I'm not entirely sure. We've got a decent acclaim boost, which is good. And the team move up to level 9 now, which is excellent. We don't move any further into the 9 category though. Answer at least 2 questions. So there you go. We've got 211k from that. Mick Schumacher got a 25k damage deduction. But there we are. We're up to $3.5 million in the bank. So on to round 9 then, which of course is Canada. So really looking forward to Canada. My favourite racetrack to drive on, and always seem to do well in there. Well there in career mode. So I think we could be in for another points paying position, and we've got a really good run of Grand Prix coming up. So let's have a little look at the calendar. I just want to check whether we did finish 8th in Holland as well. So that's our 4th points finish of the season. Really, really excellent. Looking forward to Canada. France, I'm not too bad around. Austria is always a good one. Silverstone speaks for itself, although I don't think our car will be quite up to Silverstone. Hungary, I always enjoy Hungary. I know it's not a crowd favourite, but I like Hungary. And then Belgium, Italy. You know, just 2 fantastic tracks. And we will have our new engine upgrade by then as well. So it's all going to be really, really positive. It's just a matter of where do we take this engine penalty. We're going to have to take one soon. Probably should have picked Monaco, which was my initial thought. We do have another fresh engine, or at least some fresh engine parts that we will be using for the upcoming Grand Prix. But yeah, it's going to be tough to get to the end of the season. We are just going to have to start taking penalties, unfortunately, and that's going to cost us some valuable points. But there you go. There you have it. That is the end of today's episode. If you have enjoyed it, then hit that like button down below. If we can keep hitting 50 likes, it honestly means the world, and I'm baffled that there's so many people that are enjoying this quite as much as they are. It's absolutely amazing. So thank you so much for the support, and make sure that you've clicked that subscribe button for daily F1 2020 content if you haven't already. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.